There is an interesting epidemic that's happening right now. And by right now, I mean 2 weeks ago, but it's still relevant, I swear. People have been brainwashed into liking idol anime. Guess I can't really blame them when I've had oh my god, yes I'm listen now repeat and Chon Seon from G-Idol be looking mad cute. Oshinoko is an idol anime that follows the life of a 16-year-old girl called Ai Hoshino. Is what I thought when I first saw the anime, because this guy is known for having cute girls as main characters. What was his name again? Akana? Ana Akasaka? Asa Akira? Akasaka. That's it. Whew. And to be honest, I actually wasn't supposed to watch this anime. Because it's a fucking isekai. Nah, I'm just kidding. I just hate women. But nah, in all seriousness, it wasn't for any of that. The reason I picked up this anime was due to external reasons. And I'm glad I did in the end, because this show was pretty fucking good. Now, is it highest rated anime of all time good? I don't know, but I'm getting ahead of myself. What is this show all about? Ai Hoshino is the lead singer of a small to medium-sized idol group called B Komachi. Maybe if they were big enough, they could have been called A Komachi.
Yeah! Whoa!
And essentially, the anime talks about some real-world shit. The struggles of being an entertainer, the hideous, disgusting underbelly of the industry, and a genuinely repulsive group known as idol fans. Ugh. And our main character, Gorou, is one of them motherfuckers. Gorou is a doctor, an OBGYN. So basically, he's either a godsend or the devil. He's also a massive fan of Ai. You heard that right. A doctor man in his 30s, which is pretty impressive by the way, good for you, is a 16-year-old girl's biggest fan. I think there's a far more negative term for that in the West, but come on, it's Japan! Everyone loves Japan! Ever heard of top 5 random things in Japan that will blow your mind? So yeah, we'll let that slide. So Gorou receives news that his beloved Ai is going on hiatus. Oh no. She's also pregnant. No way. There's also a pregnant woman in the hospital that resembles her in every way, shape, and form. Where's the...
16歳、施設育ち。どっかで聞いた。
A 16-year-old girl with purple hair and pink streaks with the same childhood upbringing as my favorite idol? Well, that does appear to be a bit sus. They seriously couldn't have made the scene more realistic. So he's set to deliver her pregnancy, and on the night before the big day, he heads home and is confronted by a Discord mod. And one normal conversation later, he scurries off into the forest. Now, Gorou, instead of returning to the hospital like everyone with a brain was thinking, decides to pursue the stalker for plot progression and ends up being pushed to his death. The next day, Ai learns about the heavy news, doesn't give a fuck, and gives birth to 2 twins the very same day. And one of those twins is Gorou? So now Gorou is basically there to protect Ai and make sure her career blossoms into a beautiful flower. There are so many things that I'm intentionally leaving out here because, frankly, it'll turn the show from a highest ranking anime out of 10 to... I don't know, just watch the fucking show. But part of the reason why this show got to where it is because of the plot. Subverting expectations is a big factor in what makes a good show. When everyone's doing the exact same shit as the next guy, the easiest way to stand out is to do the opposite. It's partly the reason why I avoid isekai as a whole, cause I just can't stand watching the same shows in different costumes. And you can't blame me when half your titles sound like that time I got caned in my ass and was reincarnated into my cousin's body pillow. And I would actually watch that show. Oshinoko takes the already saturated field of isekai and twists it completely on its head. Firstly, the show is marketed to be about idols, but instead of showing the parts where they're doing kissy faces for 20 minutes, it focuses on them just being normal humans. No, they don't love you, they sing and dance for 3 things: ego, fame, and money. Finally, 3 things I can relate with. That's not to say they hate or don't appreciate you, they're just not as emotionally connected to you as you are to them. Oshinoko rips that band-aid off of anyone who thought otherwise, and I think it's very healthy because people need to know that they don't own whoever they're seeing on stage. Wait, so Chon Seon isn't really my girlfriend? Number 2-tedly, Akasaka just wrote the story super fucking well. Hands down, you can't fault the man when he now owns 2 of the anime that are in the top 10 of all time. Again, I cannot for the life of me tell you why it's good, even though most of you have probably watched or have been spoiled already, but for the lucky few out there, keep this in mind: subverting expectations. The characters are also a major contributor to everyone's enjoyment of the series. Just think about it. If we take all isekai protags and put them in a room together, They just fuck the hell out of each other from how horny they are. But my point is, the main guy Gorou sticks out from the rest because Gorou is a good character. And my bar of good is on the floor, because at least he—
Why did you wait for the feet? Did you want to see feet? You like feet. You like men feet.
because at least he doesn't go for the extremely low-hanging joke of, "Ooh, it's mommy milky time, auga, auga." He also just respects Ai as a person, and genuinely throughout the 90-minute short film made me feel like he was a sort of father figure to her. Now his twin, on the other hand, is what we call Charlemagne incarnate. She is a full-blown menace to society. Okay, what else? Ooh, the animation. If not for anything else, the animation should be the thing that convinces you to just try the anime out. Togakobo is the studio that picked up this series, and if all anime in the world looked like this, I probably would have been sick of it by now, but I'm glad 7 Deadly Sins exists. The characters breathe so much life into them, all thanks to the animation. It's mostly the eyes, but even the camera work sometimes is top tier. Normally, I wouldn't notice any of this because I have the eyesight of my teammates in Valorant, but I noticed that the details in the eyes change depending on the mood of the character. It's like those mugs that change color when you put hot water in them, or those Hot Wheels color shifters. God, I wanted them so bad as a kid. When the characters are excited or during a close-up shot, it's like looking into a vast network of galaxies. When they're acting cold, they look more muted, and when they're sad or angry, the star turns dark. It's such a simple but effective way to convey the emotion across, and I like it. Now, after singing all its praises, there are some things that bothered me. For example, why did they just cut to Ai being in the hospital after announcing her hiatus? It feels like the author did that purely for plot progression, when I think it would have felt more natural if we had a scene of, like, say, the director telling Ai that he knows a hospital and it's more secluded, so she should go there. They already mentioned that afterwards, so why not just put it at the start so it transitions more seamlessly? There's also this part where they go to a filming set and Gorou just starts having a full-on conversation with a grown man. Bear in mind, he's like 3 years old.
Go around sometimes and I hang out with other people that are my age and they're just kind of just, I'm just like, dude, like, oh my god, like, can we talk about like the political and economic state of the world right now?
And the guy's just like, huh, this baby's weirdly intellectual and mature for his age. So anyway, I think the war in Ukraine, all the little things that probably look like I just nitpicked to give critiques on, but I'm serious when I say that it genuinely broke my immersion for a bit. Obviously not enough for me to dislike the show. I think this is a very small part of a massively huge positive. Though another thing I would like to add, which will probably spell the end for me, is the fact that I'm done. Like, I'm done with the show. I mentioned that the first episode is 90 minutes long. It's pretty much a short film, and what I will say is that it's a prologue, a prequel to the actual show, and even though I loved the first episode, after watching both episode 2 and 3, I just don't think I got hooked enough to want to watch it week after week. It's like, I've had my fun, so I'm moving on to other anime. However, I will say that if I were to continue this series, it would have to be either after all the episodes have come out, or I read the manga. But until I make that decision, this is where it ends for me and Oshinoko. But you know what doesn't end? You and me! I make so many more awesome videos on other anime that I humbly think deserve some recognition. So if you want to help me out, please go watch these two right here and subscribe since you already made it this far. In fact, you should comment as well. I reply to a lot of them, you know? Hello? You still there? Do you remember to like the video?